Edumate.tv, India's first live TV initiative focusing on higher education. I am Swati Negi Chibbar. A lot has been happening and not happening in the world of education post the outbreak of COVID-19 and the subsequent introduction of India's new education policy 2020. Let's take a look at some of these which make our top stories.
Delhi University admissions go fully online. Many states yet to decide school reopening dates, unsure due to COVID-19 situation. Karnataka announces 3-week midterm holiday for schools from October 12th to October 30th. Schools to not reopen in Maharashtra before Diwali, Education Minister Varsha Gaikwad. LSR records highest cutoffs at 100% for 3 courses. No need to spend dollars on a foreign degree anymore, Ramesh Pokhriyal. IIM alumni Shrikant Datar becomes the Dean of Harvard, second consecutive Indian to achieve so. Modi wants Oxford, Harvard and Yale to open campuses in India. Role of NCERT is very important in implementing new education policy. Political Science and BCom Honours, toughest to get in at Delhi University. Delhi University cutoffs bring out the flaws in the system. Postpone board exams to May next year, Delhi government to High Court. Despite high cutoffs, Delhi University sees a high number of applications. NTA to hold NEET re-exams for students who weren't able to appear for MHCET due to power outage. Mizoram to reopen schools for class 10th and 12th on October 16th. Gujarat colleges to end academic year by July 2021. Expert says that NEET cutoffs will be higher. Punjab allows school to reopen for class 9th to 12th after October 15th. Delhi Skill and Entrepreneurship University to be operational soon, Arvind Kejriwal. For in-depth details of all stories and analysis, log on to www.edumate.tv.
So these were the top headlines from the world of education. Now let's move on to our special series on the class of 2020, where we engage with students, teachers, principals and university professors on special topics which are creating a buzz in the post-COVID environment.
Hello and welcome to all of you, very, very special guests, and for me, even more special students. It's such a pleasure to reconnect with school, finally, once and for all, after several decades. We live to learn, and we learn to live in what has become unprecedented times. Times which make history across the geography of Mother Earth, where a minor virus has created a major stir, leading to a state of uncertainty. And we know that the only thing certain is uncertainty, just the way the only thing constant is change. And change we must to adopt and adapt to the different circumstances, the post-COVID world. In the first part of our series, we started with the new normal, a candid COVID classroom with the principals of various schools. Today, we feel it's important to extend this to the people who are affected at large, my most beloved students. At a time when teaching is changing, classrooms are changing, devices are changing, methodologies are changing. It's time for us also to change. But while you're not having regular classes, I understand that your quizzical minds will always have questions, will always want solutions, will always have ideas, will always have thoughts which need to be put into action. And that is why we bring to you the class of 2020. Thank you so much for joining us. Let me introduce my esteemed panelists. First up, in the first of our class of 2020, the objective out here is the young, bright minds of students who are full of questions which need not just to be answered, but their eagerness needs to be satisfied. And we've got our special guest to talk us through and guide them through this process over the next 80 minutes of the class of 2020. Let's first start with a student from Darjeeling Public School. I believe Rubaiya Mustaqim is here. Rubaiya, welcome to the show. What is your question? How will the teenagers get over by the trauma of being affected by COVID-19? I think it's important, Rubaiya, to understand that the trauma is still ongoing. So getting over it will only be when hopefully we get over COVID.
A new normal where the focus of governments would be expected to be on public health and public education. A new normal when we would expect nature, or what else should I say, preservation of nature as a primary aspect of the society, sustainable growth of economy as a primary aspect. Coming to your life, individual lives, it's so nice to see. I have already met Honorable Principal Chandacharan Das in the earlier programs. I have also met Vice Principal Victoria Rahman in the earlier program as well. So nice to see your students now, the people whom you are grooming. And I would like to tell these young people who are at the threshold of adulthood, coming to 18 years of age, threshold of leaving school and getting into colleges, come, this is a historical moment in your life. In the last 100 years, such a pandemic has not happened. You will never forget this year 2020. You and I will never forget, but you will be even more remembering, because this is the year you are passing out of school and entering into college. This is the year you made a very wise decision, because schools were largely physical in the old normal, but education will become phygital, physical plus digital, both blended. This is the new normal of the tomorrow. So do not be at all traumatized. Welcome this new situation with open arms. Understand that you have to be digital personality. So digital personality will require a laptop, a smartphone and Wi-Fi connection to begin with. And then voluntary learning. So far learning many a time was enforced or imposed by the system on us. Now we are entering into a situation at the physical level in schools and colleges. We will have the normal discipline learning, and at your own space in the digital space, you will have a voluntary learning. What to study and what not to study, how much to study, at what speed to study is on you in the digital world. So you are going towards a new phygital world. There is nothing to be traumatized about. Also, teachers have to understand, we the teachers have to understand, we cannot teach you anymore. Digital world can give you information more than what we can give. So we can mentor you, not teach you. Our job has become now mentoring. Mentoring is about giving a new direction. Mentoring is about being an agony aunt or an agony uncle when you have problems. Mentoring is about motivation and inspiration. Mentoring is about introducing something to you. But you have to understand that you are no more a student. Yes, we use the word student as a practice, in practice or as habit. But you are now a learner and not a student.
You know, you don't deal with life in fear. Life will throw you a lot of challenges, but those challenges are to be overcome. I'll tell you two very simple, I wouldn't say dialogues, but two very easy lines you'll always remember. One is from a film, one is from an ad. If you remember the film Sholay, there was a line out there, "Jo dar gaya, samjho mar gaya." Essentially, you are the lifeline of this country, right? The least thing we'd want you to be is fearful of any situation. And the second thing, it's a more powerful line in terms, which was was an ad line which said ki dar ke aage jeet hai. So when you start looking beyond fear, you start seeing that fear is just another emotion. It's your reaction to a situation. There's no fear outside. The fear is all coming from within. That's what will help you to change and overcome a situation. Because dar ke aage always jeet hai. I tell you this from my personal life experiences. Thank you, Rubaiya. It's a brilliant question, though, and a very good way to start. Paramita Das is with us. Paramita, what is your question, please?
Good afternoon, judges. My question is, can this online classes ever replace the way in which teacher used to take live classes in which they could interact more precisely with the students?
This is the very, very pertinent session to have arranged, because when I used to organize the Inspire program with the session of the class 11 and 12 standard, I used to advocate that bring the teachers as well as the parents in one session along with the students. And you have done the right thing, what I could advocate in the last 10 years in my service life. Congratulations for that.
There will not be a situation where it's absolutely online. It has to be a combination of both online and offline, as what even Professor Chaudhary said. It's going to be the physical as well as the digital, and make it the digital world. So a lot of things are in the waiting, but whenever you have to wait for something, I'd always suggest be excited about it. Look forward to what's coming, because it will be obviously to your benefit, and eventually it will empower you further. Jafar, your question, please.
So my question is, what are the adverse effects of going online completely?
Last day also when I joined the webinar, I told one thing, that there are two sides of every coin. Which coin you want to see totally depends on you. Now, see, we all know that we were not ready for such a situation where we have to be all technically so advanced, many of us. But in a very short time, students as well as teachers and different institutions, they have coped up with the situation. But what I think is the most adverse effect which may happen is that suddenly students getting too much in contact with the net world, I should say. Like before, there was a situation where we as teachers or principals used to tell that don't use mobile, stay away from social media. But now a time has come where you used to have those internet or use those internet which you need to do your classes. So students are using it from many schools from 5 to 12. So suddenly they got an open area which they don't know at all. So, the students who will not able to understand their responsibility, sometimes they will find something which is very casual or attractive, but which is not at all good for them. So this may affect adversely. And other than that, like sitting a lot of time in front of the computer, laptops, or these mobiles, it will definitely affect the health issues if it continues. But on the other hand, if we see the positive side, then we'll see that now we are in a world where we have to be technically sound, where everything is open now. There is no height, nothing is hidden, everything is open. So it totally depends on us. As per me,
physical distancing will continue. So all batches of learners need not come to campus for all 6 or 5 days of the week. There could be odd and even sort of hygiene factor should be one. Wherever there is food being cooked inside the college, as we do it in our Edumate University also, lunches people have in the college, and for hostel students is BLD, breakfast, lunch and dinner. For day scholars it's lunch. So we will have to increase those spices and ingredients that increase the immunity. Kala jeera, haldi, adrak and many others. That food has to be re-looked at, the way it is being cooked and the ingredients which are being used. And a lot of lemon use, citrus foods use, and nimbu pani, drinking nimbu pani. These would be very common going ahead, and it will be encouraged actively. The other aspect is coming to campus, as we do it now also we shall be doing it after the lockdown here as well on our campus as well. Coming to campus will be for laboratory work, for studio work, for group discussions, peer discussions and all, and any strategy meeting, planning any strategy or events. The people should come for these 5 things to campus. For those which are theoretical classes, which are conceptual classes, the first priority will be digital learning. So you will be given in advance PowerPoint, PDF, video, podcast, that is audio, and case studies. To self-study one, that is called flipped classroom. And then you discuss it in the classroom later on for doubt clearance. So Google Class and Zoom class on the days you are not coming to campus will be common. So it's a very different new normal. You blend again. Do not think that online will only be there. It cannot be. There has to be peer group, friendship among youngsters. There has to be a guru or teacher or a mentor. I would like to say mentor. So mentorship is important. So therefore, physical 3 days a week maybe, for largely studio, laboratory groups, discussions and debates and strategy meeting and events, and digital for conceptual learning, video viewing, audio hearing, listening, and PDF listening, reading, all these digital, and then Google Class and Zoom class. Any doubts, clear it physically. So blended, seamless physical and digital, creating a phygital format of learning. Thank you, Keshav, for asking this question. I think this is a question of every youngster who is studying now.
You know, your question was that how will the college function after life return to normalcy? That question itself perhaps is flawed because it assumes that what you're seeing today you think is not normal, and perhaps the old normal is going to come back. I think it's important to understand the expectations of the future are going to be very different. There has to be a new normal, as what Professor Chaudhary was saying. So we need to mentally also accept that we are heading into a situation which is going to be new. And we have to receive that with an open mind. How much of it is going to be online, how much is going to be offline is one part of the matter. But that old normal will not come back. I think you have to be mentally prepared for that. That is the conditioning of your mind, which is important. And so your next question, in fact, if I were to rewrite your question, I would say, what is the new normal going to look like? Avantika Gupta is with us. Avantika, what is your question? Are we going to take a lesson from Mother Nature for maintaining its beauty and keeping it sustainable? Beautiful question. Or are we going to destroy and deplete it?
And this question has come in a way, the way it begins with is caring like from the first question. The children are remaining in trauma. They are expecting something very totally different. I understand a beautiful name you have given to it is a new normal. A change has come. Now we are in course of our teaching, in course of our rearing, the parents, the teachers, everybody who is well-wishers around, they always equip us, always inspire us to be patient and to carry forward. And many a times also we have said like, cut your coat according to the clothes. Look at this stock, design accordingly. And when a time has come, just like a day dance and you have to go somewhere and it's raining and you find new ways. And you don't get held up with that. You find newer and newer ways of it. And in the first instant, if you are not that equipped, that successful, probably in the days ahead or in the attempts ahead, you are rectifying and correcting yourself and going. So you are totally not going from the physical to totally to a digital, but you are going comfortably with whatever avenues available, with the people around you, the support of the mentors, the teachers, the parents, the government. Everybody is looking for it, how to make it easier, convenient, how to provide things so that what happens with the resources available, we can stretch forward and we just take it the way any change comes, change is dynamic. I wish to make my students very optimistic that this change has come and not in the way you were thought of, but you are in a very improvised way. In a sort of time-oriented way, you are making yourself, setting yourself. And you will be the first example, being the first batch of students in this transition period. So you will be the leaders. You will experience it the most. And you have the opportunity to teach the people around. And with regard to this, the saving the nature or destroying it, but I understand it is probably We are talking of whatever resources available we have. We will shape them well. We will take them forward. We will, with ourselves, we will find new ways of utilizing it and improvisations and to become successful. Dearest children, it is an opportunity that you are among these leading educationists and one like Mr. Chetan Sharma. Just be a visionary. Just look ahead. It is nothing has happened. A change has come. Let us take this as a change only. And you will be successful. There is nothing to be afraid of. And the way, now with regard to the teachers, when some of you are talking of physical classes and all, right? Because we were used to it, we were depending on it. Totally we were depending. We were not doing anything when somebody says there, somebody pats, or somebody makes us go ahead. But then now, a time is coming. And you have to equip yourself, you have to make yourself successful. So with looking at the resources available, looking at the provisions available, you will definitely, the time will teach you, time will make you fit, time will make you sufficiently smart to go forward. So it is nothing like to destroy whatever you have. You will have definitely find a way, find an opportunity to carry it further. You will love to nourish it. You will love to mend it in your way, and you will see that you are going very successful. There is nothing change, wrong has come. Just a change has come. A change in this form, what we see. Maybe we have not thought of, but then, now somebody was talking, I will definitely thank them, that like, the children were asked not to go for mobiles, phones and all. Why? We were reminding them the goods and bads. We have said all the values were there with us. Values we forget. We say Vidya Dadati Vinayam, Vinayati Yati Patratam, Patratvat Dharma Proti Dhana Dharma Tato Sukam. The values were always there with us. Each time we never leave any opportunity to inspire our children to go with the values. Why should they go beyond? Why should they limit with themselves what is available? Why can't they be very sensitive to what people are saying, what the mentors look for, what they are supposed to become? Why can't they always, we will say now, they will deviate from here. What problem will come? Now a change has come. We will definitely take the good ones, the good ways, the test of it, and we will go forward. I hope I'm very optimistic, and I hope my children will also understand and to carry it forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Indeed, extremely inspiring, just the way you were last time, Principal Sir. Thank you so much for for inspiring for the students, not just the students, the learners as well. Just let me add a little bit, Avantika. You need to understand that for you, things that are going to be in the future are normal. Your problem is 1/10 of our problem. Look at people like us who studied for 30 years in the old system. We've got to unlearn and then relearn. So we have a two-way process. As far as you're concerned, you have a one-way process. So you've got a huge advantage over us as children, because your minds are fresh, your minds are flexible, your minds accept much more, your minds are always physical. So for you, this is the best time to be. And you can talk to your teachers and they'll tell you how difficult it is for them to adjust, because the older you get in life, the more inflexible and rigid you become. So this is your opportunity to actually meet the competition which the elderly are going to provide you. And you have the power of technology to take yourselves forward. And to answer your question specifically, are we again going to destroy or deplete our reserves? Avantika, that lies in your hands, because you're the future. It's not us. We are the past. You're the future. So how you want to treat your earth going forward lies with you. The only caveat and caution out here is, do remember that if you choose an extreme measure, whether you like it or not, Mother Nature will come back and reply in whatever way. If you nurture it well, it will bloom with you. But if you choose extreme measures, it will also choose to destroy. So the choice lies with you. Thank you for that question.
Welcome back to Edumate.tv, India's first live TV initiative focusing on higher education. Well, it is indeed an interesting class of 2020. now, isn't it? We will bring it right back to you after this very short break. Stay tuned.
Hey, welcome to Edumate.
And what is it that's required to make our education system more skewed towards employability?
Many engineers who are employed, they are not employable. That means there is something wrong with our education system. So, education has to be, the magic word is relevance. What you teach them, what they learn has to be relevant at that particular point of time.
How much do you think, I mean, you of course, you're a young minister yourself and you interact with the youth all the time. Where do you feel that their pain points are at this time?
We are still following the British system of education. Up to some extent it is right, but completely it may not be correct, because many of our young minds, our people are working in Houston, in NASA. Many are employed in other countries. So if we were to produce, our system is just to produce clerks, they would have not been working there. So that may not be completely correct, but change is the only permanent thing. So India is not behind. We are also, moving very fast. I have a dream. You see, students, they go from the village to the city for studies. From the cities, they go to abroad. They go abroad for studies. Do you see anybody coming from abroad to study in the city, or anybody from the city to the village? No. Why? So my dream is, I would like to bring people from city for studies to the rural area and the village. That is my dream.
बोर्ड एग्जाम से याद है सबको अपने अपने? बोर्ड एग्जाम्स का एक अनरिटन रूल था, राइट? जितने मार्क्स का क्वेश्चन है उतना लंबा आंसर लिखना है. Like if the question is, why did Ram kill Ravan? And if it's for 2 marks, then Ram killed Ravan because Ravan kidnapped Sita. But if it's for 5 marks, then once upon a time there's a king named Ram. If it's for 10 marks, then once upon a time there's a king named Dasharath. If it's for 15 marks, then India is a secular country, we follow many religions. फिर ज्योग्राफी में मैप पकड़ा देते थे, उसमें कुछ भी चीजें मार्क करवा रहे. मार्क 2 places in India where gold is found. अबे पता तो वहीं चले जाता मैं. यहाँ कलम नहीं घिस रहा होता. तो मैंने मार्क्स में लिख दिया मन्नापुरम फाइनेंस, मुथूट फाइनेंस. उसके बाद में ऐसे राइटिंग, वहां पे कुछ भी ऐसे लिखवा रहे हैं. इफ आई वर द प्राइम मिनिस्टर. ये ऐसे है कि अडवाणी जी की आत्मकथा. उसके बाद में सबसे गंदा क्वेश्चन, सबसे वाहियात क्वेश्चन, लेटर राइटिंग. उसमें कुछ भी लेटर लिखवा रहे तुमसे. राइट एन इनफॉर्मल लेटर टू ए सिस्टर टेलिंग हर द इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ गुड़ी पाड़वा. अबे नहीं पता यार मेरे को इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ गुड़ी पाड़वा. और पता भी है तो लेटर क्यों लिखूंगा? मेरी सिस्टर में घर पे रहती है. वो पोस्टमैन कंफ्यूज हो जाएगा, टू और फ्रॉम सेम एड्रेस से चल क्या रहा है इनका. सेम घर से झोला लेके निकल रहा, सेम घर वापस कराओ, यही काम बचा है क्या मेरे को? बट फिर मैं देखा लेटर 15 मार्क्स के लिए था. और मार्क्स के लिए मैं कुछ भी कर सकता हूं. तो मैंने लिखना शुरू कर दिया गुड़ी पाड़वा पे. डियर सिस्टर, इंडिया इज अ सेक्युलर कंट्री, वी फॉलो मेनी रिलीजन्स.
Welcome back to Edumate.tv, India's first live TV initiative focusing on higher education. let's go back to our class of 2020 and join Chetan Sharma, founder of Edumate.tv, in conversation with students, teachers, principals and university professors on special topics which are creating a buzz in the post-COVID environment.
These were first 5 questions which we had from the Darjeeling Public School, our young minds from there. Let's now go across to the first 5 questions of the OP Jindal School. Astitva Tripathi is with us. Astitva, thank you for joining us. What is your question?
Good afternoon, sir. So my question is, I am feeling that I am losing my ability to communicate in person due to extra reliance on screen and online relationships. How to manage it?
We human, we never lose touch with individual people. Okay, so what will happen is there will be the things will change. The new normal has changed completely. Okay, but we as a human, we are always going to be efficient enough to deal with people, to talk with people. See, even though it might have happened that you talk with people through screen, but the screen or the digital media can never ever take over the place of human touch. So that is always going to stay. Yes, during this situation, you might feel that for some time, as because you people are not going out, nobody is going out. So you might feel that this lockdown is taking toll on you. But once the things get normal, where everyone will be able to move out of the house, you will adopt and you will realize that you actually did not lose your ability to communicate or to communicate with the people in person or in real.
So this lockdown is making me mentally ill and weak as I don't see the colors of life when I peep outside. So how to deal with this one?
See, what we are today not in the normal situation, but because of this not in normal situation, we all are suffering. We all is it I'm audible?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Because of this unusual situation, what we are really mentally stressed. Both young minds, older minds, and any age group in that sense. And young minds will be much more because they have many things to think of at this moment. Their career, their mostly the future and all these things. You should be positive in your thinking process. You should plan your activities properly, and that will do away your mental stress little bit. You should do something physical exercise, breathing exercise, which reduces your mental stress, mental illness.
My parents express their deep dissatisfaction about my screen time. They don't understand my online engagements. So how to align them with my thoughts?
This Mohit has asked a wonderful question. Being the parent, even sometimes I express my annoyance when I see my kids very much busy with phone all the time. But my dear Mohit, the situation has come like that. As parents, we should understand that now the students are taught through mobile phones only. Previously, we were very much against usage of mobile and technology by our children. But now, the complete schooling, complete teaching, learning, that has come into mobile. So as parents, we need to understand, we need to realize, the situation's demand. And as Modi ji said in his, one of his speeches, just in the recent few days, he said, to find out opportunity in the adversity. Aapada mein avsar ko talashna. So, as parents, I have to say, we should realize the situation, and at the same time, we must keep an eye on our children. They are young minds only. They do not know what is good, what is bad for them, though they are sensible enough, but still, vigilance is required. So as, my dear Mohit, and all youngsters, all you teenagers, you better need to take your parents in confidence, in deep confidence of yours. You need to take them as your best companions, because right now you're missing your peer support. As you're missing your peer support, kindly find out that support in your parents. Have confidence in them, kindly trust them. Do share your every day-to-day activities which are planned by your school with them. Only then they are going to realize that yes, you really need to sit with mobile or laptop just to utilize your time constructively.
So we are not able to play outdoors, which somehow is affecting my focus and concentration. So how to deal with it?
Yeah, it's true that we all know that all work and no play definitely makes Jack a dull boy. But now suddenly a situation has come where we cannot go outside of our houses because that is not secure. So but that doesn't mean that we are totally locked. Like few minutes back, one question was asked, very nice question, by one girl, I think Debolina. She asked that we are forgetting or we are not getting to see what is life or something like that. So it's all interrelated, I believe, because you are in such a stage, because most of the students over here, they're from class 12, you are in such a stage where you have to think that what games really should mean to you. Now you are like most of us now, we are not in a stage where we are going out, or most of the time when we are having our normal school, when we were having our normal life. It's not so that everybody was enjoying play games or something like that, going outside, outdoor games. Most of the times it was like that we are busy in our work, students were busy in their race to get good marks or something like that, and parents are taken care of. But suddenly a situation has come where we are locked inside. So it's very important how we understand the situation and what we think can be taken right this moment. No doubt not doing physical activities, not going out, not being able to play is quite tough. But we can do the same in our home also, inside our house. Because many of the people have now started doing yoga. Many people have started doing meditation. They are using whatever space they have inside their house, on their terrace, and they are using it. So we can use that also. Apart from that meditation right this moment, because we are locked inside our houses, where we are only in a virtual world, where we can connect with our friends through virtual world, but not real world. So over there, I think meditation is very important. You should do that. You should understand. You should do something creative.
So actually, I sing. I'm a singer.
Right.
So I would like rather give more concentration on singing. So that would help me get my focus back.
Good. So I'm going to get you to focus right now. Sing me one song, 4 lines of one song, your best song, favorite song.
Oh, for sure, sir.
All yours.
तलवारों पे सरवार दिए, अंगारों में जिस्म जलाया है, तब जाके कहीं हमने ये केसरी रंग सजाया है.
Yeah. Beautiful. Why are you wasting your time with pool and badminton, for God's sake, man? You're blessed with such a beautiful voice. God bless you, and thank you so much for that beautiful poetry. Wonderful rendition. God bless you. From coming back now to the Darjeeling Public School, Narmata Sarkar, what is your question?
How are the schools going to cover the problem lacking behind of syllabus of students' curriculum?
Today also we have received another communication from CBSE. What all are the chapters to be covered, focused for the examination? As my dear children, particularly in some of the mathematics, if I talk of, there were some questions were marked with stars and all, saying these are not for examination. Like that, there will be some chapters in the book which were either there as a previous knowledge, or they have some steps ahead in the next year, in the years to come. So they have been redesigned again. The education, the coordinators, the academic coordinators, and in the apex body too, CBSE, is redesigning this syllabus, so that what happens, the right chapters, the relevant chapters will only be taken up and will be focused more for the examination. And the rest of the chapters will definitely be touched, but then not with that importance, not wasting that much time, not it is not a waste definitely, but then not engaging the children for a long time in those chapters.
Isn't it equally necessary to educate the parents in technical field so that they can keep a check on their child, what they're doing on the internet?
Now, yes, internet today makes vulnerable to the young mind. That's what the parents thinks, and maybe to some extent it is true. But as someone pointed out in this session, that student or the child needs to convince or make the parents as a companion what is the importance for surfing those sites. So parents need to make them understand by the child, and equally the parents need to accept that situation, that in the today's scenario, when education, when every activity of the society or day-to-day life is technology based and needs to use the technology utmost, and knowledge of technology utmost needed. So therefore, it is also the duty of both parents as well as the child to get them in equal level and convince them the need of those situations and those technology in our process.
What is the student concern when they get to compare between physical presence and doing online classes?
During this COVID, one we have come up is we all are this, all the educationists and even the students must have realized this. If the student does not want to learn by himself or herself, then on this earth will be able to make him or her learn. So that's why students be interested to learn his or her subject. They should be adapting to the team. And yes, of course, in the online classes, like sometimes it is not possible to connect due to the net issues. It is not always possible to connect with the teachers. So in case, what you is as soon as your classes is over, you can just call with the teachers and then try to get back with the subjects or the topics which you missed out at that particular time.
My question is, I am badly missing peer support because my support network has been taken away due to this corona outbreak. How to live with this situation?
The plight of migrant laborers and other such issues related to today's time are disturbing me. So how to avoid this mental agony?
Yes, I'm worrying a lot about how the ongoing pandemic is adversely affecting my studies and the timely completion of syllabus, because while online classes are great and all, they're just not as efficient as offline classes.
Basically, I can say whole world suffering from this pandemic situation where physical contact also strictly prohibited. In order to avoid this situation, what I think, we are trying online classes very sincerely, but still I feel that it's not complete, because my direct contact and somehow teaching through online is, I know that this is something different, but still I say that in order to avoid such a adverse situation, we are trying somehow from outside, and rest part you have to do by yourself, because I think that you are really lucky or unlucky because you have just eyewitness for this adverse situation, that how the whole world is suffering a lot from this situation. And studies is required also, but learning also we are trying through online classes sincerely we are doing, and rest part you have to do by yourself. And whatever problems you are facing due to these online classes, you can take help of your teachers directly or indirectly over phone also, so that the situation can be overcome. Except that I think that you can refer some books also, and teachers are always ready for that to help you. And with this only it can be sorted out. Else I don't think that this situation can be directly school will be opened, because first target is that give complete protection to students first, and because you are only future, so that's why you cannot take any risk by taking offline classes. So only online classes from our side, and rest from that some initiative and some extra efforts you need to do in order to make your studies somehow satisfaction. What I think, sir.
I personally believe the miseries of the migrant labor. First of all, who is the migrant labor? We only have an impression That man on the street who is walking with his family and belongings is a migrant labor. I'm sorry, it's not. I was born in Bengal and I worked in Symbiosis Pune. I am a migrant labor. Chetan Sharma is born in Calcutta. He's working in Delhi. He is a migrant labor. Please understand, we are all 90% of many of us, most of us have worked in some other place other than our place of birth. In a way, we all are migrant labor. The unfortunate thing, because I and Chetan come in middle class or maybe a little upper middle class, so we have a secure life. And those people who are working to build our bridges, our homes, our roads, run our factories, they do not have a secure life. So it's a question not of migrant labor, it's a question of injustice done to the people who are financially weak. That's one issue I wanted to put forth. Yes, going beyond, there are many NGOs doing commendable work. Many individuals are doing commendable work. I am sure many of us have contributed. By now, I have contributed 3 times in bringing in some food and succor to people who are at the lowest level. So this shows your sensitivity as a young person, and I appreciate. Taking the other questions, colors of life, Devolina. Actually, you can see some other colors of life now. Many a thing that you never knew, that there is something called Zoom meeting you are seeing just now. You might not have done this Zoom meeting earlier. Many a thing, you would not have met Honorable Dr. Amalesh Mukhopadhyay, the former advisor to the Government of India's Science and Technology Department, if you had not come on Zoom. You would not have met India's one of the leading anchors, Chetan Sharma, if you had not come on Zoom. So look at everything as a new color of life. The other colors of life, meeting your principal, your teacher directly face to face, meeting your friends, meeting your relatives, that would be remaining. That will again come. But there are certain new things which you have never done, you would have not done otherwise, which you are doing now. The time you are spending with your siblings and parents is also a value, is also a blessing in disguise. So turn everything into an opportunity. The point is, how an individual turns a crisis into an opportunity is the test of that person's resilience. You can do online courses as Amalesh sir has told earlier. In our school, university, those who are seeking admission now, those who are in class 12, we have already opened up paid diploma under course era from American universities free of cost. They have not even now become our students. Still, they have just applied and we have opened up Coursera to them so that they can do and understand that you can get sitting at home a diploma of University of Michigan or University of Yale. And that is a fabulous color of life. It was never thought of. Nature protection, one has asked, very good. This is something I am happy that you have observed, that we need to, and Chetan ji has already told, we need to protect the environment to make ours and our next few generations secure. Because environment and the fundamentals of it needed to be protected, balance of nature has to be protected.
I often hear the term, a glass of water is either half full or half empty. It's up to you which one you look at it as. If you look at it as half empty, then you look at the word without. You look at, how can I live without going out of my house? How can I live without going to my favorite movie theater? How can I live without going to my favorite restaurant? How can I live without going to meet my boyfriend or my girlfriend? That's the half empty part. There's also a half full part. And if you convert the without into the within, you will discover a very powerful element of yourself. This is an opportunity for you to cover, uncover, discover, and rediscover the most important thing, and that is you, yourself. So it's time for you to look within, reflect, correct, resurrect, and bring out the best of yourself. They say that, good things never last, but neither does a pandemic. This too shall pass, and I'm sure each of you will pass with flying colors. And for that, you've got to be collective, corrective, and creative. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Congratulations to the class of 2020. Now let's turn it up.
There's nothing and no one that can stop you from changing the world.
Congratulations, class of 2020.
Yo! Congratulations!
Congrats!
I don't think my microphone's working.
You will prevail.
There's so much amazing stuff that's just waiting to be discovered and designed and built, and you guys are the ones that are going to do it.
It is your passion. Work for it. Embrace it. Expect the unexpected, but celebrate anyway.
Find that silver lining.
That's pretty awesome.
This is the part where you grow.
So, take all of this advice with a grain or an entire shaker of salt.
Don't be defined by what you lose in this crisis, but by how you respond to it.
It's still so important that you take this moment to appreciate what you've achieved.
I'm so proud of you all. Congratulations. See you in the world.
You are in one of the most important transitions of your life, and yet these are not normal times. But normal is a myth. This, the unknown, the unexpected, this is real, because again and again in your career, no, in your life, you're gonna have things that don't go your way. Normal does not make you stronger. Challenges do.
You've been exposed to more knowledge and perspectives than my generation ever was. You're more tolerant, empathetic, entrepreneurial, environmentally conscious.
Your story matters. In tough times like these, you continue to be what gives me hope. You all are exactly what we need right now.
First and foremost,
We did it.
together.
We found unbelievable
Opportunity, resilience, and light.
where others found disappointment.
We heard
You cannot sit with your friends.
you cannot see your family. You cannot walk
Across
that stage. But this isn't our first challenge.
We're stronger because of what we experienced.
We speak out when we need to. And we speak up when others can't.
We heard you cannot walk
Across
that stage.
It doesn't matter.
What does matter is what you can do.
You,
You
the class of 2020,
can do anything.
America is a song yet to be written.
Real change has started with you.
Congratulations, class of 2020.
New education policy is going to bring quality in the system of education in general and higher education in particular, with the help of 5-pillar concept of education stressed by Honorable Prime Minister, that is accessibility, affordability, equity, quality and accountability.
खेलो कूदो और पढ़ो वाली जो पॉलिसी है बहुत अच्छा रहेगा बच्चों के लिए। बच्चे का एक शारीरिक विकास भी अच्छा होगा और उसके ऊपर वजन नहीं रहेगा। और दूसरा जो इंग्लिश को एकदम दबाव नहीं बनाया है बच्चे के ऊपर, उसमें बच्चा की क्षेत्रीय लैंग्वेज और जो मातृभाषा है उसको स्टडी करेगा।
There are so many things which are attached to the education policy, which would not only give opportunities of better research and better upskilling to the students, but opportunities to get a good job or imbibe a skill set which would help them even in becoming an entrepreneur.
This policy will take care of the economy of our country, and also I think we will once again emerge a universal guru for higher education.
Well, ironically, the new education policy aims not just at education, but the entire gamut of human resource development, as it expands the lens beyond structured curriculum and predictable careers to a holistic 360-degree character-building process, as it addresses the critical needs of employment and employability, offering a creative mix of flexibility and focus all throughout the learning life of a student.
as it empowers the teacher, enhancing transparency and accountability through leader governance. The new education policy truly has the makings perfect and clear 2020 vision, provided it's implemented in true letter and spirit.
Welcome back to Edumate.tv, India's first live TV initiative focusing on higher education. Coming ahead is our very special show, The Vice Chancellor, with Professor Ramesh Chaudhary, Vice Chancellor APJ University, Shimla, an exclusive conversation of insights and inspiration with Chetan Sharma, founder, Edumate.tv. Over to Chetan.
Hello and welcome to Edumate.tv. I'm Chetan Sharma. We learn to live and live to learn in what has become an unprecedented situation, an unprecedented pandemic, where a minor virus has created a major catastrophe, creating history across the geography of Mother Earth, and forcing us to reboot, rethink, reset before we rebuild our lives. And our lives, particularly in the world of health and in the world of education, where the best way forward is wisdom. Wisdom of past experience and wisdom of an insight into the future. And that's what makes this very special when we talked to the Vice Chancellors heading the higher education institutions of this country in our special program called The Wise Chancellor. Today we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Ramesh Chaudhary. He's at the helm of the AP Goyal Shimla University. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Chaudhary. What a pleasure to be connected with you. And in a way, I'm a little envious of you because here I am in New Delhi in the blistering heat, and at a time when this is one of the red hot zones of coronavirus, while you are at the pristine climes and the cool weather of Shimla, where to a large extent social distancing and safety distancing is almost enforced by default. What's the update in Shimla?
It's a lovely in Shimla, Himachal has an extra edge with the environment and weather. And especially with the pandemic, when the whole world has improved their environment because of this lockdown. And we are looking a significant difference in Himachal, in a significant difference in Shimla also. And of course, compared to Delhi, we are in the safe zone, thanks to the God and to the government also. Our Honorable Chief Minister, Sri Jairam Thakurji, was very particular to saving the Himachal, and he take a lead. And you see still with the unlock 2, the Himachal has not been reopened. Still, we are very reserved with the visitors from outside, and pass is required. So that way, and our university is in very picturesque environment, and it's a lovely university having students from 28 countries and 29 states. And I'm very delighted to say you, we all are safe, stay at the home, and looking forward and moving forward with all restrictions and limitations.
Well, thank you for that reassurance, and we're so glad to hear those words. Every crisis, Dr. Chaudhary, has an opportunity. Perhaps there's a special opportunity for places like Shimla on account of location and on account of the entire topography of that area. Simply because when you see most of the cases of coronavirus has hit urban India, so it may encourage students to go and study in places like Shimla. Do you see that as an opportunity for yourselves?
I not only see, I realized it's an opportunity. And I'm very happy to share you, at least AP Goyal Shimla University has converted into opportunity. This pandemic, as we all know, has affected all the sections of the society, and education is the most, And as per the UNESCO report, 98% of the educational institutions are shut down, are closed, and it has affected 200 plus countries. And especially the Indian education sector, were not geared up, not ready, because it's still the blended learning was a very distant in the Indian education sector. But I'm very happy why I call it as an opportunity and why I call it as a blessing in disguise. Simla University had adopted the outcome-based education system in 2019. And for achieving the outcome-based education system, we have implemented the ADHIS. ADHIS is basically a learning management software.
Yes.
So we did as a pilot project from August 2019 to the December, where we felt the power of the LMS, we felt the importance of the outcome-based education system in the higher education. And then it has been decided to implement completely. So from January, we had implemented completely all learning and teaching practices were transferred to the ADHIS, which is a LMS. And once in March, all in a sudden, we were forced and we were quite closed on. For a time being, it was a shocking for us and as we were moving. But then we found that we are in the most comfortable positions. 80% of our learning and teaching practice is already online. We were doing everything right from the assignment submissions to the program outcome to the course outcome. It's all were the online. So what we did, why I call it, we converted it into opportunity, and then with the help of your Google Classes and other platforms, we have been able to achieve 100% digital learning.
Quite remarkable, and thank you for bringing that with that sense of humility and honesty. And what's important, Dr. Chowdhury, is that they always say that life comes a full circle, and there'll always be situations where certain people are put at an advantage and others will not. This, of course, is the time when those who build institutions, taken the effort, taken the risk and the trouble to build them in areas which were not urban, should be and have prepared themselves on the online platform for distant education, should be the beneficiaries, and that's how things even out. But on the other hand, there's also a bit of an apprehension, sir, and this I say, having spoken to students and parents, over the last 100 days, is that there is a hesitance to send students outside one state. One has the feeling that perhaps given the migrant labor crisis and given the impending parallel of a migrant student crisis, whether in India and abroad, parents are far more comfortable ensuring that their ward studies in the same state. If that be the case, that may be a bit of a disadvantage, particularly in a small state like yours. Do you see that being a threat at any point in time?
This is a challenging time for the human civilizations, basically. And everybody is suffering with the confusion, and uncertainty is prevailing. And same with the students, their parents, the mobility of the students, migration of the students, and by and large it will be affected. Okay. But what I understand and what I would like to convey to the parents, this is the testing time for all of us. We have to show our brave face, and how we are actually meeting these challenges is very important. And in this endeavor, even the Indian regulating bodies like UGC and other regulating bodies regulating the higher education system, they have also come up with the proposals. You see, we should understand that now technology has progressed a lot, and as the UGC is the vision, if the situation is not coming normal, till normalcy is prevailing, the online teaching will continue. And there are so many things. The government of India has initiated the SWAYAM program under the Ministry of HRD. And I'm very happy that AP Simla University has been awarded local chapter of the NPTEL Center. So what I try to convey to the parents and the students, there is nothing to be panicked, there is nothing to be worried, and you should look forward. As you have seen that in between the semester also, once this pandemic has come, we have been able to sail through. And similarly, a normalcy will definitely come. The most important thing is that once it is a hard time, the characteristic which you show, the hard work which you show is going to pay you in coming time. So this is the time, shape yourself, and at the same time, your academics should not be affected, your learning and teaching should not be affected, and
there are the ways through which the Indian higher education system has come up. They are giving an opportunity. So there is nothing to be worried. And in spite of all these things, we have a very encouraging response. Of course, the international students may be a little bit affected for this year.
Yes, of course. But it's interesting that you say that, and it's interesting also that you said that you have 100% online education, which is quite brilliant, and I think inspirational for a lot of other institutes in this country. And I hope that this interview, when it reaches them, they will be inspired by what you say. But at a time when this country's biggest threat right now, the most dangerous threat to this country is not the outside, it's the inside, and it's the divide, the digital divide. Because most of India is still not connected with digital infrastructure or devices. So in a scenario like that, if you have 100% online education, I mean, are you also suggesting that your students are from a particular strata of society, which is an affordable strata of society, and you're not catering to the lesser part of society? Is that a part of your strategy? Or you've ensured that those from a lesser part have actually been provided with devices? How does it work?
Especially country like India, where haves and have-nots are still there. Means, not everybody is leveraging the digital learning, and it's not practically possible. University like us may say, but there are a lot of educational institutions they are facing problem. But my answer is that I tell you, I have learned about a very good experiment done by Chhattisgarh government, and for the school education they have done, where the students are living in rural areas and they have a problem of the smartphone, they have a problem of the bandwidth, internet connectivity. And what has happened that through voice messages, the classroom lectures were recorded, and this experiment has worked to some extent. But Chetan, I will like to tell you, once we are saying that we have been 100% achieved the digital learning, and that means that we have tried to minimize the academic loss. I'm a teacher basically, and I cannot say that digital mode and that the digital divide which you are talking is a substitute of the contact hours, is the substitute of the real class. What I see that education system, business enterprise is going to evolve where the things will be blended. And what will happen that like we are meeting today virtually, but it cannot be actually give the studio feeling. So for the time being, it may work, and we should think always that it will be a mixed one. It will be a blended kind of the things. So there are other things also. There are so many tools has been developed. Like podcast I am talking you is a very good means where the digital divide and other things we are talking, through which we can reach to the school children or children who are living in the rural area. So if there is a will, there is a way, I still believe.
Absolutely, and that's very, very thoughtful of you when you say that. Now, talk us, you of course mentioned a lot of the blessings in disguise, but I'm sure there are challenges as well. Talk us through the unique challenges for Shimla University.
Unique challenges is like that once we were talking all this technology, but we didn't have a manpower trained or suitable or faculty development programs we were doing, and we were talking about the subjects matter, we were talking about the soft skills and other things, but we were never talking about the acceptability of the technology and other things. So this is a unique challenges for the education sector. Then another thing is that if what I'm visualizing as education is, it is the best optimized model for the education systems. I have come to know that a lot of education institutions were stuck with the viva-based kind of the examinations, the post-graduation examinations, and these were stuck because of the non-availability of the time and not possibility of the experts.
Absolutely. So to overcome these challenges, Dr. Chaudhary, what would be your advice to the various cross sections, A to the students, B to the parents, and C to the teachers?
My advice is that first thing is that we should overcome with the uncertainty. We always remember that after a night there used to be a glorious morning. So the society is a little bit, I believe once you talk with the peers, they are confused, they are full of the uncertainty. So we should overcome with all these things, because this is not the first time we are facing, the human civilization is facing such a pandemic, earlier also. So we require to stood very strong, and we require to be very positive, and we require to understand that this is an era of social distancing but not emotional distancing. We always keep in touch with each other.
I call this the PPP model, which is not public-private partnership, but it's being pragmatic, being positive, and being progressive. And thank you for ratifying that. Talk us through Dr. Chowdhury. You've had an exemplary career. Talk us through about that career. What have been the high points? What have been the learning?
We, Sivla University, we call it at where nature nurtures young mind. I would have been very happy to show the kind of environment we are. This is the most conducive place where you can study and evolve yourself as a professional. This is very professional universities having a multidisciplinary courses. We are very innovative. We are one of the leading university of the world who has implemented outcome-based education systems, where end of the semester we are able to calculate the in a quantitative way the outcome of the learning and teaching practices in terms of the student satisfaction, in terms of the teachers' achievement, and so on.
How lovely to know that. And talk us through Dr. Ramesh Chowdhury. You've had a very interesting and exemplary personal career. And the reason I asked this to talk us through your career, the highlights and the learnings, simply because there are a lot of other academicians who aspire to become vice chancellors and as famous as you.
As a academicians, means you have a very good publications, you have a very good illustrious resume, you might have it. But if you want to be claim yourself as a broad academician, if you think students at first, you are the true academicians, because you are, once you are feeling yourself educationist, in your mind always students should come first, because they are coming with a very high hope to you. They are giving you an opportunity to shape their career. How the best you can do for your students? Maybe it's academics, maybe it's a personal growth, maybe it's a personal taking care, maybe connectivity to the parents. We always think that you are made for the students. Your business is a students. So you should always think towards your students, how you can give the best to your students.
Broadly, what you're saying is that the focus has to be on the subject of education and on teaching and on learning while you're teaching and teaching while you're learning, because once that symbiotic relationship develops, I mean, everything else is a byproduct and excellence is bound to happen.
Because you remember, we are from a country of India where the value of Guru is bigger than God. Guru Gobind dono khare ka ko lagu paye. Baliyadi or Guru ko jisne Gobind ko bataya. You should always keep the piousness of these professions. You always understand and realize the kind of belief system of the parents and the students of the teacher.
It sounds very good. It sounds very noble, and all of us enjoy when we hear these things in the field of education. But we cannot distance ourselves from the fact that education is also a business. And now, as a business, as a commercial enterprise, education is challenged, particularly at a time when the reports have come in, parents are not willing to pay fees for their children. They feel that enough education is not being imparted. Schools, institutions should not be charging them the monies. On the other hand, the institutions say that they've got to pay their salaries. So there's a bit of a log jam on that. Would you like to, throw your inputs on that?
Chetan, you are right. The things has been changed. We are living in a different world. But still, teaching is a very novel profession. It is not money-oriented the way it has been projected recently with the private education system. And of course, every relationship has a give and take. You are not working just for your payment or just for the salary which you are drawing. You are working for the benefit of the students. And there are other professions where this kind of the sentiment and emotions are not there. Again, this is some irresponsible statement has been made. you have to understand the irony of the education sector. You cannot say that you don't take anyone. Recently, the High Court of the Punjab has given, this was, I believe, sentimental or emotional statement has been issued, and that has created a confusion. The private educational institutions are not given any funding, any support by anyone. Even the packages which has been government has announced, it is not, no way it is benefiting to the educational sector. And then you are expecting that educational institutions should fulfill its commitment. Where? So we have to understand, and it should be win-win situations.
Absolutely.
Edumate has a very nice endeavor, I believe, where actually we are connecting with the educational leader and talking and understanding the challenges and the way the educational sector has basically encountered this pandemic. And then you are trying to understand the vision plan. So I must congratulate Chetan and Edumate, and I wish you very good luck. And I highly appreciate your initiative. The kind of the questions you have raised is really appreciable. And I believe that these kind of the brainstorming sessions, these kind of the discussions will definitely give a better shape to the education sector in this hard time. Thank you, Chetan.
Delhi University admissions go fully online. Many states yet to decide school reopening dates, unsure due to COVID-19 situation. Karnataka announced